thank him in the end of the day for things and stuff like that. But guess what? I was still living worldly. I was still okay with worldly things. And that's not okay on my part. Okay, and the thing is though about some of my friends is the stronger I got closer to Christ is that I cut them off. But the thing is though too about my friends, I think they were a-okay with that. Because the older you get, the more you grow apart from people. So, what are we talking about today? Because I absolutely have no clue. We're just gonna wing it. We're just gonna wing it. Not just playing. We are gonna talk about something today. We are gonna talk about when you're following Christ and the differences with how you view your friends and family. And again, this isn't really necessarily gonna be hate. It's not necessarily I'm bashing on them. It's just more of, in a way, I guess I have a different point of view of them now than I used to. And I mean, that's quite okay because that's also just how you kind of grow up and stuff like that. You start noticing people's flaws. That is one of the biggest things that sucks about growing older is that you start noticing that. You start noticing more people's anger issues, insecurities, people's just being Debbie Downers and all that. And yeah, so that's just the thing that sucks when you get older, but we're just gonna start the pod already. So basically, like I said, being a Christian now, like full on follower of Christ now and stuff like that, it hits me sometimes of how my beliefs stand in a way of other people's standards, I guess you can say. And it does kind of irk me sometimes. Or I guess hurt me that people don't understand where I'm coming from with things. I don't know what I should start off with, my family first or my friends first. I'm gonna just go start off with my family first. Like I said, some of them are Catholics and stuff like that, so they are Christians and they believe in Jesus, and some of them do pray and stuff like that. But sadly, there is some where they believe in God, they believe in heaven, but they don't understand sin. They don't understand that you shouldn't sin. I feel bad for saying this about my family, and again, I'm gonna try to say positive things too about my family. I mean, this isn't gonna be a video of me just bashing on people, cause I don't want to do that. But first, I'm gonna bash on them, but then I'm gonna stick up for them. Where sometimes though, my family I feel like glorifies lusting, glorifies lying, glorifies jealousy, because they get jealous of others. That person has a bigger house, I'm gonna get a bigger house. I'm gonna have a nicer yard. I'm gonna have this and that. They got better cars, I'm gonna get better cars. I feel like it's a competition. It's a jealousy competition. It's especially with lusting too. Like I feel like sometimes they think it's a-okay to have sex before marriage. Because if you feel like they're the right person and stuff like that, or they're attractive and stuff like that, like have your fun. As a Christian, you shouldn't glorify that. As a Christian, you can have fun without sinning. People just don't realize that. Like I do a lot of group things in church now and stuff like that. Like, and I have a lot of fun with it. I met a lot of fun Christians and stuff like that, and that was probably the best thing that I ever did for myself is joining that community. So I'm gonna just say that, but the one thing is that I will say this about my family that I'll stick up for is that they are a-okay with me not going out every Saturday night. They're a-okay with me going to on church on Sunday instead of doing whatever. They're a-okay with me saying, or some of them I should say, is a-okay with me saying this is what I stand for. I don't support that. Because those are my beliefs. And they are a-okay with that. But sadly, some of them aren't. Some of them will glorify sin, and I will not go where they want to go because I don't support what that person is supporting. And some of my family members don't like that. They roll their eyes, they go on grunts, they just say it's whatever, it doesn't matter. Well, it matters to me, and it should matter to you too. it is sad though. Like I said, I feel like some of my family members too, like they claim themselves as a Christian, but yet they don't pray. They don't read the Bible. They don't understand that sinning is bad. Again, just because you believe in Jesus, just because you know Jesus died for your sins, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a follower of Christ. That doesn't mean you're on your way to heaven. It it takes time to work on yourself, and it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm 40 years old, like how am I gonna restart? You can restart. You can be reborn again. Truthfully, I know, change the subject. I'm gonna talk about baptisms real fast. As I said, I got baptized when I was a baby. I just want to say this real fast. I was baptized when I was a baby. I feel like I should be reborn again. But again, I have a lot of issues to work on. I still feel like I'm not loved, and I feel like I should feel like I'm loved. So that's before I do that. I'm gonna get baptized after I fix those issues. I'm gonna get baptized again. That's my promise for myself. Sorry I had to bring that up, but again, it's all about change. It's all about changing yourself and finding the Lord. And I'm not bashing on my family, because if it wasn't for my family, I wouldn't be the person I am today. So I am very grateful for them, and the fact that they did take me to church when I was a kid. They did taught me how to pray. They did taught me about the Bible and Jesus and stuff like that. So no, I'm not gonna say my parent, or not parents, but my family doesn't believe in Christ, because they do. It's just more of, sometimes I feel like they just don't understand. And truthfully, I'm still young enough, and I'll admit it, I don't read the Bible, so maybe I don't fully understand either. But if someone doesn't stand for that, what that person's supporting, then support that person, I guess. Like, you guys get what I'm saying. But again, sometimes I feel like my family don't understand that I don't want to do some of that stuff, like going to haunted houses or going on ghost tours. It's not necessarily like I'm scared of that stuff. It's just more of, I look at it like that's paranormal stuff. That's stuff that, like, Satan kind of put on this world, I guess. I don't want to go to a club. I don't need, everyone's famous bachelor party of going to a strip club. Like, bro, that's not, to me, I don't even understand like why that's a thing, because technically, because they always say, oh, it's the last night before you're with somebody forever and stuff like that. But it's like, weren't you dating that person, so you were ready with that person? But that's besides the point. Like, that's the way I look at it. Like, coming from a Christian standpoint, it's just, it sucks of how many people support worldly things, and as soon as you say your reason why you don't support it, people roll your eyes. People give you attitude. People will snap back at you. But don't let that person get under your skin. Don't let that person in your head. And when people especially say like, "Oh, it's whatever," just ask for forgiveness in church and stuff like that, bro, stand for what you believe in. Okay, if you don't want to go to that place, don't go to that place. And before I talk about friends real fast, I'm going to say this. A lot of my family members say the Lord in vain's name too. And as I said in a video way in the past, I don't like that. I'm so thankful that the older I got, maybe when I was younger, I said the Lord in vain's name on accident, because I wasn't as much of a follower of Christ than I am now. But I don't say the Lord in vain's name now. And I'm very thankful for that. I'm always careful on what I say before I say it. And again, a lot of my family members cuss too, and it's crazy too, because I actually don't cuss. But again, my family, again, they helped me out so much, and again, they did go to church on Sundays. They did taught me about Jesus, as I said. They do believe in him, and I just hope though some of them take it more serious. That's all I'm saying. And again, some of my family members are a-okay with me going to church events, and they support it 100%. and they're okay with me talking about Jesus. So again, I'm not gonna keep bashing on my family and acting like they're disowning me, because they're not. I'm just saying sometimes I feel like they don't understand where Jesus is coming from, and as a Christian you should think like Jesus. Now we're gonna talk about friends. So actually, it's kind of crazy. So hanging out with friends used to be my thing as a kid. You know, when I was probably like 9 years old. You know what I mean? I used to hang out with my friends like every day and stuff like that, and we used to have sleepovers and all that. Like, you know, basically a normal childhood and stuff like that. And you know, teenage years, same thing, hanging out with friends all the time, stuff like that. Got your license, that's when it changes, bro. You and your friends are tighter than ever and stuff like that. And here's the thing about me is, as I say in videos, you put God first, family first, or I mean, God first, family second, and so forth, whatever. Truthfully, if we're being honest, I did. I felt like I put my friends before my family a lot, and that was my mistake. I also felt like I put my family before Jesus than anything too sometimes. So as I said it, God first, family second, and so forth. And when you're a kid, you think that your friends are your family, and when you're struggling with anxiety and depression and insecurities, you do talk to your friends for that and stuff like that. But I'm sorry, the main person that held me out with that was Jesus. I remember every night when I was down on myself, I prayed to God that things will get better, and things are gonna work out. And guess what? I grew stronger as a person because of that. So I got to get an amen to that. So if you're struggling with anxiety, depression, insecurities, all that, or just stuff going on in your life in general, pray to God. He'll listen to you. He won't talk back to you like other people might. Won't criticize you. So that's all I gotta say. Um, but again, I used to hang out with my friends a lot, and sadly, I'm gonna say we were doing worldly things. Some of my friends did support worldly things like sex before marriage, or drinking underage, or going to parties and stuff like that. And guess what? I was okay with that stuff at the time. I thought it was normal. I thought worldly things were normal and stuff like that. I did believe in God. I still did pray every night. I still did thank Him in the end of the day for things and stuff like that. But guess what? I was still living worldly. I was still okay with worldly things. And that's not okay on my part. Okay? And the thing is, though, about some of my friends is the stronger I got closer to Christ is that I cut them off. But the thing is, though, too, about my friends, I think they were A-okay with that. Because the older you get, the more you grow apart from people. And sadly, like I said, they did. They listened to like demonic stuff. They were some demonic stuff, and they supported sin. And I wasn't A-okay with that, and they were quite okay that I didn't hang out with them like we used to. And I'm glad they were A-okay with that. Because, again, as I said it in this video, it's A-okay to grow apart from friends. You guys take different paths in life. Do I hope that they go close to Christ too? Yes, I do. I hope they go to church. I hope they do pray. I hope that things is going to work out for them. But right now in life, that we're doing different things. We're on our own different paths. And again, that's A-okay. I just hope that they come closer to Christ. I hope some of their bad habits do change. And I hope some of my bad habits change too. I hope I am growing as a person. I hope people do see me as a different person than they once did. Than before when I was, say, living worldly. I hope my friends do see that different side of me. But it is kind of cool though. I do got some old coworkers that I used to be friends with that turn their lives around. I know this one person that used to be the biggest player I knew, and now all he does is post about Jesus. I think that is one of the coolest testimonies that I've seen in my own eyes, because I remember him, how sinful he used to be. And I used to be so cool with this dude. We used to always joke around with each other, and I think it's the coolest thing of how much he got his life together because of Jesus. And I respect him for honestly thanking Jesus for it all. How much Jesus impacted his life, because I witnessed it with my own eyes. And again, as I was just talking about friends and stuff like that, like some of them might not be okay with some of my Christian beliefs and stuff like that, and I'm not gonna say that's okay, because it's not. But we believe in different things, and sadly, they don't. Some of them don't believe in the same things as I do. Or some of them are okay with stuff that I'm not okay with. And part of my isolation phase was cutting a lot of people off, and that's what I did. And again, but like I said, I will support them on this one, that they were a-okay with it, because they still talk to me until this day. We still text each other here and there. We just don't hang out like we used to. And again, one, that's just life, and two, I want to get closer to Christ, and I don't want to do worldly things anymore. But so like I said, I used to hang out with my friends all the time. And it's kind of crazy though, because I got a stronger follower of Christ in my 20s. So when I was like 21, I didn't go to the bar. I remember one time one of my family members just hated on me for that. So he's like, it's a Saturday night. Why are you on the couch? Why are you just sitting at home? And I'm like, dude, like, no one wants to hang out and stuff like that. And I say, okay. And then he's talking about how, back when he was in his 20s, he was going out every night. He was doing this and that. And I wasn't even jealous. I was just annoyed by him. Like, bro, just, like, leave me alone. Like, let me live my life the way I want to. But that's besides the point. But like I said, with friends and stuff like that, like, it might be hard to cut yourself from those friends because you don't want to live worldly anymore. You're not into drugs. You're not into lusting. You don't support any of what they support. You don't want to listen to the music that they listen to. You don't want to watch the stuff that they watch. And it's the saddest part is the stronger you get to Christ, and then you hang out with those people again, and it's not the same like it used to be. But you also have to remember is that you grew as a different person too. I'm sure they do see you at a different point. I hope it's a good thing, like, dang, this person, changed in a good way, but at the same time, it's like, friends just grow apart. That's where I'm getting at. But careful on who you hang around, because the people you hang around is the people you become. Don't forget that. But I was also gonna say, also with coworkers too, it is very hard to work with some coworkers, especially when they're not a Christian, when they glorify sin, or especially when they bash on Jesus. And that is very hard to work for. There's been many of times where I had to walk away from stuff. Or when people know you're a Christian and they like any little thing that you say or do, and they're like, oh, I thought you were a Christian. Or especially when they pretend to worship Satan. Yes, I had those coworkers before. Messed up. I straight up walked away and I said, I'll pray for you. I hope that changed their minds. But the stronger you get to Christ, the more you realize about worldly things that people do. And it can sometimes be hard to isolate yourself, and I get that. But you as a Christian should also talk about Jesus to them. You should spread the word of the gospel. And it is hard as a Christian to live on this world. It is hard to understand about being on this world but not being for the world. And it is very hard to understand that, or to be around other people that are very sinful and it's a sin. But that's your way of bringing the Lord in their mind. spreading the word of the gospel, as people say. But that's all I gotta remember. Like I said, as a Christian, you know, it is hard to, especially your loved ones, to look at them differently. But you as a person, that means you're growing. You're growing closer to Christ and stuff like that. And there's gonna be things that stick out to you that annoy you, but you can change that, or not ignore that, but you can try to change that person's mindset and stuff like that, or you can just isolate yourself from that person. But in the end of the day, don't forget to pray to Jesus. Thank you guys for listening. It's Real Talk with K.M.B. I'll see y'all next week.